So, part two here. So, my mom, with my, being grown up, well, being raised with my dad, telling my mom, why do you go over and see your mother if all she does is cut you down? I'm looking at my time here. Okay. All she does is cut you down. Why do you go over? And it was pretty simple. And then my Uncle Bill would say, Lee, to my mother, if mom keeps putting you down, why do you keep going over there? Every time you go there, you come back and you complain about something. So it was pretty simple. And I think my mother, in her own way, did, have the boundaries with my grandmother and say, hey, I got to get home and I got to make dinner. The kids need to go to school or whatever. But I think for my mother, there was a need to try to understand her mother at some level and um, try to make sense of a lot that happened to her. So until those relationships, until you can dig into them and be like, okay, why did this happen and why did that happen? And like my grandmother used my mother, no doubt, as just her own supply for her own ego. I mean, I don't think my grandmother really knew how to love. I don't think she did. I mean, she said she loved me. I was her favorite granddaughter, but as I got older and became a Christian, she broke things off with me because I was not her flavor or her type of Catholic Christian. So, when someone says they love you, and then like my grandmother, I mean, I was brought up with her and I was her pawn. And then once I had my own, life, and I spoke up to my grandmother and, would say some things to her, I was no longer her, supply. So that's the way it happens in a lot of families. And it doesn't sound pretty, but it is. And until you can really identify those and be able to speak into those patterns, you're not going to be able to heal, and that includes abortion. So, what I want to do is I want to put together a curriculum to help women with the trauma, after the trauma of the trauma. This seems to go on forever sometimes. Is we want to come to the place of knowing we just came from some dysfunction in our family. And, most families have dysfunction. But when you have it at the level of, abortion, where a life was taken, that is a whole nother level. So what I want to do is get in there and help women apply the patterns, the unhealthy patterns that were in their lives, so that they can heal not only from the abortion. Like something that happened today was, not only did I see my father, the relationship with my father was just transactional for the most part, which helped me to understand maybe why I had, more boyfriends than I should have. But to understand, okay, a lot of the reasons why the abortion happened was my mother just, she didn't really care about my feelings. It was just, don't tell me you're pregnant. That's not the best way to approach somebody who's in a crisis pregnancy. So I want to get in there and deal with the abortion on the level of coming from, really unhealthy